Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Urvashi. I work as a professional trainer and I provide trainings in front-end development technologies, that is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React.js and Redux. So welcome to the second video of Let's Crack It with Urvashi. This is the second video of your JavaScript. Today we are going to start with variables and operators in JavaScript. And before we go to the video, do check out my front-end development interview preparation material. This preparation material will give you everything that you need to practice front-end. So let's get to the video now.
Hello everyone, in today's video we are going to see what are variables and operators in JavaScript. So firstly we have variables. So JavaScript variables are containers for storing data values. That means we are going to create a structure where we are going to store our data values. So to declare a variable we use a var keyword, that means var, where we are going to insert the values inside that some variable name that we are going to create using the keyword var. So basically we write var, then the variable name, equal sign, and then the value that we want to assign to that variable. So equal sign is used to assign values to the variables. So all JavaScript variables must be identified with unique names. So this is very important that you keep unique names. That means if you have 10 variables, then you keep different name for each variable. No variable should be same. Definitely JavaScript is a case sensitive and a loosely written language. If you keep two variable name with the same name, it is definitely not going to give you any error. Rather, it will override that value. But being a developer, it's our responsibility that we keep unique name for each data variable. So JavaScript variables are nothing but a storage, a container, a structure where we are going to insert our data values inside it. For example, var x equal to 10. So 10 is a container where we are going to insert the value 10. That is a number. And we definitely use this var keyword. Definitely, if you guys see other languages like Java, if you guys have seen Java, C, C++, C Sharp, there you have different type of keywords like int, float, double. So we don't have such different type of ways of defining a variable in JavaScript. We just have one way, that is var keyword. That is the beauty of JavaScript, that we don't have to learn so many keywords just to declare a variable. We need to know one keyword, that is var. Now let's go to the Visual Studio Code and see how that works. So here you guys can see I have one index.html file where I have included my HTML code and I have attached external variable file. So again I have created a new folder var where I have two files, index.html and variable.js. Variable.js is my external JS file that I have attached inside this, which I have included inside this HTML file. So that means whatever code we are going to write it here inside this variable file. Now the very first thing in variable is how to declare a variable. That means how to start writing a variable. So always write a var keyword and then the variable name. Let's say t. So here this is how you declare a variable. So the variable here, the container is going to be t. T is going to be the container where any data can come. And var is the keyword which I've used to declare a variable. Next step comes how we can assign some value to it. Now to assign a value, as I said, add the equal sign. So t, the variable name, equal to 10. So 10 is the value I've assigned here. So t is my variable which I've declared here and the value I've assigned here. So assign a value to a variable. So I have assigned a value 10 to my variable, that is t. So var t and t is equal to 10. Now we can do both the steps in one line as well, like this, var t is equal to 10. So I can do both the steps in one line like this. So let me change the variable name. Let's make it y and let's change the value as well. Values can be same. Team, definitely 2% can have a same name. So values can be same, but make sure you keep the different name for the variables. So let's say this is declaration and assigning a value on the same line. So this is how we can do it, like this. Now next thing comes, we can declare multiple values in one statement as well. For example, let's say I have a var person is my variable name, is equal to Elena. So this is my person whose name is Elena. Definitely the way I'm writing, I'm adding these quotes and all, this might be confusing for now, definitely, but in next lecture we have data types. So there you will understand why I'm writing number like this, why I'm writing a string like this. You will understand all those things in the next lecture, that is going to be data types. Here we are looking at variables, that how we can declare these variables. So as I said, we can declare multiple variables in a single variable on a one state. So this is how we can do. Just declare the first variable instead of adding semicolon. Now these semicolons are not compulsory team. As I said, JavaScript is a very loosely written language. So there is no compulsion, but ideally you should add these semicolons. Here you don't have to add semicolon, just add a comma and write the next variable. Let's say age is equal to 20 and then add the semicolon. That means these two variables, that is var, that is person, and the age, now they both are on the same line. You have declared them and assigned the value on the same line, but definitely you have to use them individually. So this is how we can do it. Now let's say I have a variable, let's say p. I've declared it, I've not assigned a value, right? So that is called undefined value. Now again, undefined is also something we are going to see in very much in detail in the next lecture, that is going to be data types. So undefined is also data type in JavaScript. Now why am I including this here is because always assign a value when you declare a variable. Make it a compulsory thing that whenever you declare a variable, make it a habit to assign a value as well. Otherwise it will give you an undefined value. Definitely we have so many variables now. Next task is how we can display them. And we saw in the previous video how we can display these values. So let me just do console.log of person. Let's do person. Let's do alert of t. Now definitely if you do t plus y, if you guys clearly see t, that is 10 plus y, which is 20, so it will do a sum. So to avoid that, we are going to add a string in between. Definitely why we are adding string, we are definitely going to see that also in the next lecture, that is going to be data types. But for now, just consider we are displaying 10, that is this, space, the next value, that is 20. Now we are going to run this, just double click on this, and here you can see 10 and 20, 10 space 20, okay. And we are going to go to the console to see the value, because I did console.log of person, that is Elena over here, so I could see the values. So that is how you can declare a variable, assign a value to a variable, and you can declare multiple variables on a single statement as well. And always make it a habit to declare a variable, that is when you declare a variable, assign a value as well with that, otherwise it will give you an undefined value. And this is how we can display the data. Next thing comes, how should we name a variable? That is called naming convention. As I said, JavaScript is a case sensitive language. That means if you are declaring a variable like this, var space first name, and you're declaring a variable var space first name here with f as small capital and here f as capital letter, so they both will be considered as separate names, unlike other programming languages like Java, C++ and C#. So here you have to be very careful while naming the variables, as it is a case sensitive language. Next is we follow camel casing. Now camel casing is whenever you have a combination of multiple words like first name. So first is a separate name and name is another word inside this first name. So we prefer to keep first name the very first word, all in small letters, and the next word's first letter in capitals. That means first name, this is how I am going to write. If there is, let's say, naming convention, so I am going to write naming and the next convention C is going to be capital, just like this first name. So we prefer to go with camel casing in JavaScript. And your names can contain letters, digits, underscores, dollar signs, anything can come in your names. There is no restriction in that. In fact, we can declare a variable starting with underscore and dollar sign. In fact, this dollar sign and underscore is used maximum when you are writing a code for some backend part. Then you use these underscore and dollar sign a lot there in declaring a variable for the backend part. We cannot use reserved keywords as the variable name. For example, var is a reserved keyword. That is var. Here you can see this var. It's a reserved keyword. You cannot declare a variable name as var. Let's say var space var equal to 10. So you cannot use var as the variable name. Any reserved keyword, definitely there is a dedicated lecture for reserved keywords as well. For now, var is one of the reserved keyword that we have seen. We cannot use that as the variable name. And always include space around operator. That means this is what we call a operator. This equal, here space, this equal is my operator. So the equal is my operator. That is assignment operator. And always include space around operator. That means equal is my assignment operator over here, that is used to assign the value, and you really need to include a space around this over here. That means around this equal sign you should always include the spaces. So this is the naming convention, that is the rules. If you don't follow these rules, definitely it is not going to give you error, but definitely it is going to cause some kind of a problem in your logic. So that is very important that you should always follow this naming convention for your naming your variables. Next topic that we have is operators in JavaScript. So we have arithmetic, assignment, string, comparison and logical operators in JavaScript. We are going to see all these operators in detail one by one. So let's go to the Visual Studio Code. So here I have this another folder, that is operators. In that I have two files, that is HTML and the JavaScript file. As I said, I have HTML and I have attached this external JavaScript file like this. Now here I am going to start with the operators. So the very first operator that we have is arithmetic operator. So this is how we declare a variables, that is var, let's say x is equal to 10 and var y is equal to 20. So this is how we can declare our variables. Now what operations come under this operator? So all the addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, modulus, power, all these comes under this arithmetic operator. So firstly I'm going to say, let's say var z is equal to x plus y. So this is what we call as addition. That is simply sum of two values. Then let's say I have var O is equal to y minus x. That means subtraction. That is nothing but difference of two values. That is, you're subtracting one value from the another value. That is subtraction. Now let's say I have var L is equal to x star y. That is the multiplication of two values. Now let's say I have var r is equal to y slash x. That is nothing but division of two values. Now similar to division, we have one more value, that is called modulus. Let's say var k is equal to y modulus x. Now difference between them is the division always return quotient and modulus returns the remainder. That means in k I will get the remainder value and in r I will get the quotient value. So this is the modulus. Then we have power of. That means let's say var j is equal to x star star y. That means x to the power y. That means 10 to the power 20. Let's say 2 to the power 3 is 2 into 2 into 2. That is the same way. 10 is to power 20. That is 10 into 10 times 20. So that is what power value is. Power. So definitely we have seen this through the, how we write it. So firstly you add the same var variable name equal to right side value will go inside the z. Let's say right side we have 10 plus 20. So 30 will go inside it. and this is what we are using is the equal sign. As I said, always include a space around it. So this is what we call operands. This is what we call operator. So the thing on which we apply the operator is called operands, and this is what we call the operator. And this is the return value that the right side part will give us to the left side. So right side part is going to be returned value to the left side part, because that is what we are doing. We are storing the value of the right side in the left side. The same when I say return question, that means whatever the value y/10 will give you will be stored inside the R. Now next thing, how we can see the values. Simply we can display these values. So let's say I will simply going to do console.log of z plus space. The reason I'm adding space because otherwise it is just going to do the sum of all the values. And definitely that is something we don't want, because we want to see the individual values. So I'm just going to say z space. So this will add a space. Z space plus O space. Okay, this is O plus L plus space plus we have R plus space plus K plus space plus J, and that's it. Now we're going to see all the resultant from these values in one go in console.log. Now let's run this in the browser. So simply I will double click here. Now to see any value in console, just right click, go to inspect and then console. So here you can see all the values. So 30 is what this Z is giving to me. Then we have 10, that is 20 minus 10. Then x into y, that is going to be 200, which is this. Then you get 2 value, that is from this. Then you get remainder, that definitely the remainder of 20 divided by 10 is going to be 0, which is this value. And then last is 10 to the power 20, which is going to be this value. So this is the correct output. We have two more values here. Let's say k plus plus and let's say j minus minus. So this is what we call increment and decrement values. That means this is what we call increment. Now this is equivalent to what? K is equal to k plus 1 will give you. This is equivalent to what? This is decrement. This is what equivalent to j is equal to j minus 1. So whenever you have a requirement like incrementing by 1, decrementing by 1, simply instead of writing this complete expression, we prefer to go with k plus plus, and here if it's just minus, then j minus minus. That's it. Simply I'm going to save it, and if I refresh, you guys can see this over here, that is 1. Earlier it was 0, the modulus was 0, now it is 1 because of this k plus plus. That is this one. Earlier it was 0, now it is because of this 1 addition, it's 1 over here. And here you guys can see j minus minus, so one value has been reduced from this. So this is how we can use this arithmetic operator. So right now we are just looking at different type of basic concepts that we have in JavaScript. Definitely we are going to apply all these in future, like when we will have conditional statements, switch loops, there all these things are going to be used. For now, just remember, whenever we need any power, we need to find a power, we need to find remainder question, you should know that we have such operators in JavaScript. This is one type in arithmetic operator. Next type we have is the assignment operator. Assignment operator is something we have already seen, we are already writing, but we don't know the meaning of it. So assignment operator basically means where, let's say, name is equal to, let's say, Alex. So this is what we call the value on the right side, and the left we call it as the name. So where name is equal to Alex. So this is what we call the assignment. This equal to sign is called assignment operator. So to declare a variable, whatever we are writing, whatever we are using is basically equal sign, which is called assignment operator. That means assigning some values. Now let's consider some number. Let's say var val is equal to 20. Now if I write, let's say val plus equal to 5. Let me just write something like this. Now this is equivalent to val is equal to val plus 5. So this is nothing but the short forms. This is just the equal sign, equal operator that I'm using as the short form for writing this expression into this. Definitely, if you are writing this is also correct, this is also correct, but this is just a short form to write this. And you are definitely going to see a lot of time this type of syntax in real time. Because we definitely go for code optimization, we never want to write huge amount of code. If we can optimize our code as much as we can, we go for that step. So that is where these kind of things help you. Like one of these is this. So simply you have the same thing for multiplication. Let's say 20, and so this is equal to val is equal to val slash 20 and val star equal to, let's say, 2. So this is equivalent to val equal to val star 2. Okay, this is 10, this is 10 because here I have mentioned 10. So this is how you can write all these. So in one go I'm just doing a console.log of val like this. Now if you see, I'm changing the value of val only. So I have val as 20. So it will be, val will have now 25 value, 25 minus 10, it will be 15. 15 slash 20, it is definitely going to give you some value, and into 2 is going to give you this final value. If you guys see, you will not see different values on each place, but you will see same val is being used, because if you see, val is equal to val plus 5. So val plus 5, val initially is 20. 20 plus 5 is 25. And you're storing the same value in val again. So same variable is being used on the 4 of these lines. So simply, I'm going to refresh. You can see the value 1.5 I will get here. This is absolutely correct. This is what we have in assignment operator. Next operator we have is string operator. Now in this string operator, we just have one thing that is being used in this string operator, that is plus sign. So let's create a string. Let's say var person is equal to Alex plus 20. So I'm doing the addition of a string of a number. A string is nothing but a combination of alphabets, and this is my 20. And but in JavaScript you actually specifically don't say something like that, combination of alphabets. It can be a combination of alphabets plus digits as well. For now I am considering a combination of alphabets plus 20. So ideally it should give, if you write the same statement in C, C++, Java, it is definitely going to give you error. But here if I do console.log of person, this is what you get. You get Alex 20. That means it is going to give you the addition of Alex plus 20, which is a string and a number. So this will give you, this is the only operator that works on string, that is plus, that if whenever you do string plus 20, even if you guys see here, this is number and plus string, this is also a string only, because anything that you write inside single quotes or double quotes is a string in JavaScript. Always remember this. Anything in single quotes or double quotes is a string in JavaScript. So here too you are doing the sum only. So this will add z space. So this is a space which doesn't have anything, space 0. This is exactly what I'm doing here. Alex plus 20. So this will give you, this is going to return a string to you. Now if I write something like, let's say var value is equal to 20 plus 20 plus what? What do you guys think? What should ideally come? Is it 40 word or 20 word? Alright, let's see the output. So here you will see, okay, I didn't console it, so let me just, so let's first console it. If I save it, if you go here, you will see it's 40 Alex. That means before the string part, if there are any number of numbers, you can simply write it, they are going to sum on its own. So this is all happening, all this conversion is happening because if you see, this is a number, string, and resultant is a string. All these things are happening because of implicit conversion cohesion in the JavaScript. That means automatically type conversion is happening on its own. We don't have to write it anything for that. Let's say I have var a is equal to hello, that is a string, plus 20 plus 20. Now what do you guys think? What should ideally come here? Yeah. Now let's see the output. So if I go here, you guys will see hello 2020. That means this time this is considered as string, then rest of the part is also considered as string. That means the moment in an expression, this is what we call a complete expression. So in this complete expression, wherever you see the string part, rest of the part has to be a string only. Before that, if you have any number, it will be calculated as the number. So this is how you can do. These are very important questions, especially with the interview point of view. This is how your interviewer can confuse you. But always remember this rule. In string, you always have one operator that works, that is plus, and that is basically addition. And whenever you have a string start in an expression, if you have a string starting from here, that means the rest of the part will be considered as the string only. And before that, if you have any number, it will be considered as the number. So this is the another operator that we have, that is string. Now we have two more operators, that is comparison and the logical operators. So in comparison logical operators, as the name suggests, we are going to do some comparisons, and logical means some logical operations we are going to do around the operands. So comparison logical operators are used to test for true and false conditions. For example, if you have, let's say, x equal to y, that means two values are equal or not. That is basically going to be a comparison operator that I am using there, that is equal to sign. Now comparison operators are used in logical statements. Let's say I will always have some logical statement like x equal to y, x not equal to y. So there basically not equal to, those are called comparison operators, which I am using for the logical statements to determine the equality or the difference between variables or the values. So there I am going to use these comparison operators, and logical operators are basically used to determine the logic between variables and values. For example, there are two statements, x equal to y and x not equal to z. So there are two statements, two expressions which I am comparing. That is where and is called the logical operator. When comparing string with a number, let's say if you are comparing x with y, JavaScript will convert the string to a number when doing the conversion. That means it is going to convert the string part to a number. Let's say there is a string called 10 and there is a number called 10. String can also have a number 10 and there is a number that is 10. So both are numbers. So one is string and one is number. But the value that both the values have, that is a 10. So when you will compare them, it is going to give you the correct value. And if you are comparing some empty string, it will convert it to 0. Let's say if you are comparing an empty string with 10, so it is going to give you 0 there. And a non-numeric string will convert to not a number, which is always false. That means non-numeric string basically means, let's say if you are comparing Alex with 20, definitely it is going to give you a not a number, which is false. Definitely for now these all sound little confusing. Well, let's see through the code how they all work. So let's go to Visual Studio Code. So the next operator we have is the comparison operator. So simply I'm going to consider two variables. Let's say b is equal to 9 and let's say var c equal to 9. Like I said, I gave you guys one example here, that if you have 10 in number and 10 in string, but both are the values are same, how you are going to compare them. Now let's say I'm just going to use all these values in console.log just to show you guys the values directly. So let's say if I'm doing b double equal to c, that means I'm comparing that both the values are equal or not. So this is going to look for value that they are equal or not. And these comparisons, so this double equal to is comparison operator. These comparison operators always return either true or false. So B equal to C. Either it's true or false. Let's see the output. So if I refresh, you will see true. So irrespective of the fact it's a number, it's a string, you will see a equal to C. Irrespective of the fact it's a number, it's a string, you will get the true value. Now at the same time, if I do something like console or log of B triple equal to C, let's see the output. This time I have used triple equal to, it is going to give you false. That means this time it is going to look for value and data type. That means it is going to consider the value and the data type both. This time it consider only value, and this time it consider value and the data type. Again, this is important for the interview perspective, because your interview can actually confuse you in these type of questions. Now let's say B is not equal to some value, let's say 9. So I'm just checking if this B is not equal to 9, this string over here, it doesn't matter what data type, but B is not equal to 9. That means 9 is not equal to 9. B is a number and 9 is a string. Okay, and if it's not equal, then it is going to give us true, and if it's equal, then it is going to give us false, because we are saying it should not be equal. So B is not equal to 9. So let's see the output. So here I got the false value. As you can see, 9 is a number and 9 is a string. It doesn't matter what data type is, but it is strictly going to check the value that 9 is not equal to 9. Definitely they are equal, so it is going to give you false. Same way we have another value that is double equal. That is B not equal to 9. That means 9 is a number, B is a number now, and this is a string. Now let's see. So it is going to give us true because they are not equal. Here it is looking for, just like this, it is looking for value in type, and it is going to look for value over here. And here if you guys see, they both are equal in the values. On line number 37, they both are equal in the values. It's a number, it's a string, but it is just checking the values. Here it is checking the value and the data type both. So definitely real time we prefer to go with triple equal to here and not double equal to here. So this is how we actually use in real time. Now we have other operators in this. Let's say console.log of. So all these are comparison operators that we are doing. Let's say B should be greater than 20. So I'm just writing few statements. Let's say console.log of. These are very simple, less than, greater than signs. Let's say less than 10. Then let's say console.log of B is less than equal to 9. Like this. And team, if you want to like ident your code, that means ideally how your code should be ident accordingly. Indentation is basically, if you guys have seen in HTML, that how many spaces you are leaving before the starting of the document. This is what indentation is. And here in JavaScript, just right click here and just click on format document. So it's first section, second section, third section, third option is format document. So just click on it. It is going to ident, it is going to include spaces accordingly to the document. So here I have these three values. Now let's see its output. So B is 9. 9 is greater than 20. Ideally it should be false. 9 should be less than 10. It's true. And B is less than equal to 9. That means either a line of 41, this line T, it has to be less than 9, or it can be equal to 9. So if any of the statement is true, it is going to give us true. So if I refresh here, you guys can see false, true, true. And this is what I said. Here you will get false, here you will get true, and here you will get true. Because definitely 9 is not less than 9, but 9 is equal to 9 over here. So if any of the thing is true, it is going to give you true. So this is how you read it. B is less than or equal to 9. Now what this or I am saying is nothing but again an operator, which comes under logical operator. So majorly we have these type of operators inside a comparison. Definitely you can do greater as well, greater than equal to 9 as well. That will also work here. Now logical we majorly have and, or, Or is nothing but these two pipe signs and not. So we have these three operators in logical majorly. So let's say var num1 is equal to 20 and var num underscore 2 is equal to 30. So we have these two values. So I'm just going to say console.log of team. Whatever I'm writing in console, you guys can store it inside a variable as well. It's your choice. I'm just doing it console just to show you guys what it accepts, what output will come. You guys can store that in a variable. I mean, you can store this complete inside something like var I is equal to b is greater than equal to 9. You can store it here like this. This is allowed. So right now I'm just doing console so that you guys will understand what these are going to return. So here you have combination of two expressions. So here you have one expression till now, the single. So here you are going to include the same expression twice, and with that you are going to insert an operator in between. So let's say num1 is less than 20, less than equal to 20, and num2 is greater than 20. This is one statement, and I'm writing one more statement. Let's say console.log of num1 equal to 20 and num2 is greater than num1. Let's say I have these two statements. I'm just going to replace the operator. Let me make it and. So here this basically means this one expression and this two expression. If this individual expression return true and this both return true, then it is going overall it is going to be true because it's and. If any of the value is false, then it is going to return false. And in or if any of the value is true, then the complete value is going to be true. So if any expression is false, overall it returns false. If any expression true, overall it returns true. This is very important. This is going to be used a lot. So all your logics is basically based on this logical operator, this complete part, all this comparison and this logical. So now if you guys see num1 is 20, 20 less than equal to 20, this is true, and you have 30 greater than 20, which is also true. So both are true, so it is going to return you true. Here the statement is num1 is 20, 20 double equal to 20, which is true, or num2 30 is greater than 20, which is also true. So in both the cases you will get the true output. If you guys see, I got one error, that is reference error, that num2 is not defined. This is good, I got the error because it's a human error, that is typing error that I did. I forgot to include this underscore over here. Now here you can see both the cases I got true value. Now let me just make it less than 20. Num2 I'm making less than 20. Now one is returning true and the other is returning false. So overall it is going to return as false. And here even if both the values is true, then it is returning true. Now let me just make one value false. So this is returning true now and this is returning false. So overall it is going to return as true only. And this is what I've written over here. So this is what you have in logical operator. And the last we have not, which is nothing but when you are doing some comparison again with the value itself. For example, let's say not, and then you are going to say, let's say num2 double equal to 30. So firstly you are going to say num equal to 30. Is it true? Yes, it is true. And then you're going not. That means you want to return the opposite of it. That is going to return you the false. So you're saying not. That means you're expecting this doesn't have to be true. So overall it is going to be false. Now the best way to read this not is always start with the expression. So it is saying num underscore 2 double equal to 30, which is true. This is true. And do the opposite of it. That is not. Now if it is something like this. Let's say num2 is greater than 30. So num2 is greater than 30, which is false. And you are doing not of it. That means opposite of it. So this is nothing but not. That means doing opposite of your expression is giving you the output. So this is returning me false and you're doing not. That means it is going to give you true over here. And the best way to remember this, just get the output of the expression and do the opposite of it. So this is what you have in operators. This is what you have in operators. I hope you guys understood the operators and the variables in JavaScript.
Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share my channel. Do share it with your friends, family, aspiring developers and any working professional who want to hone their skills in front-end development. And do check out my interview preparation material